Today's video is not about an ordinary king, and not about an ordinary war. Today's video is about a man whose name was feared on the battlefield and respected even by his enemies. A man who ruled empires, yet lived like a servant of God. A leader who could destroy cities, but chose mercy instead. When the strongest kings of Europe heard his name, they prepared for war. And when Jerusalem fell into his hands, the world prepared for bloodshed, but witnessed justice. This is the story of a man history itself stands up for, Salahuddin Ayyubi.
Salahuddin Ayyubi was born into a world filled with chaos, war, and division. The Muslim lands of the 12th century were fractured, weakened by internal conflicts and political rivalry. At the same time, Crusader armies from Europe had captured Jerusalem and large parts of the Middle East. The holy city of Jerusalem, sacred to Muslims, Christians, and Jews alike, had been under Crusader control for nearly 90 years. Muslims were not defeated because they lacked courage, but because they lacked unity. It was in this broken and painful era that Allah prepared a leader who would change history forever. Salahuddin Ayyubi was born in 1137 or 1138 AD in the city of Tikrit, located near the Tigris River in present-day Iraq. His full name was Al-Malik an-Nasir Salah ad-Din Yusuf ibn Ayyub. He belonged to a Kurdish family known for discipline, loyalty, and service. His father, Najm ad-Din Ayyub, was a respected administrator, while his uncle Shirkuh was a powerful military commander. Shortly after Salahuddin's birth, his family left Tikrit and later settled in Mosul and then Damascus. Damascus was not just a city, it was a center of Islamic knowledge, culture, and spirituality. This city would shape Salahuddin's character and values. As a child, Salahuddin did not show signs of becoming a warrior or conqueror. He was quiet, thoughtful, and deeply religious. He spent much of his youth studying the Quran, Hadith, Islamic law, Arabic literature, and history. He was known for his humility, self-control, and kindness. Those who knew him at a young age never imagined that this gentle student would one day command massive armies and defeat kings. But Allah often prepares great leaders silently, far from attention and glory. Salahuddin's early life was focused on learning, not fighting. He developed a strong connection with faith and morality. He believed that power without justice was meaningless. These early lessons stayed with him throughout his life. When war finally entered his life, it did not change his values. Instead, it strengthened them. His journey into politics and warfare began through his uncle Shirkuh, who served Nur ad-Din Zangi, the ruler of Syria. At that time, Egypt was weak and politically unstable. The Fatimid Caliphate was collapsing, and Crusader forces were eager to seize control of Egypt to surround Muslim lands. Salahuddin joined his uncle on military expeditions to Egypt, not out of desire for battle, but out of duty. During these campaigns, he witnessed betrayal, political manipulation, and cruelty. Yet he also learned discipline, strategy, patience, and leadership. In 1169 AD, after the death of Shirkuh, an unexpected decision changed Salahuddin's life forever. At just 31 years old, he was appointed vizier of Egypt. Many powerful figures opposed him. Some doubted his ability, others saw him as a threat. But Salahuddin remained calm and patient. He did not seek revenge or act harshly. Instead, he focused on reform. As vizier, Salahuddin transformed Egypt from within. He eliminated corruption, strengthened the army, stabilized the economy, and restored Sunni Islam peacefully after years of Fatimid rule. He treated people with justice, regardless of their background. Slowly, Egypt became strong again. His leadership was not based on fear, but on trust and integrity. When Nur ad-Din Zangi died in 1174 AD, the Muslim world once again faced the danger of division. Many regions rebelled, fearing Salahuddin's growing power. But instead of plunging the Muslim lands into civil war, Salahuddin chose patience and diplomacy. Over time, he united Egypt, Syria, Yemen, the Hijaz, and parts of Iraq. This unity was the foundation of his success. Salahuddin understood that Jerusalem could not be reclaimed unless Muslims stood together. Despite becoming one of the most powerful rulers of his time, Salahuddin lived a simple and humble life. He wore plain clothes, slept on the floor, and gave away much of his wealth to the poor. He never allowed luxury to enter his heart. He prayed regularly, fasted often, and wept during Quran recitation. He feared Allah more than any enemy. When advisors urged him to save wealth, he replied that his trust was in Allah alone. Salahuddin's character made him unique. He never broke his word. He never killed prisoners for revenge. He never celebrated cruelty. Even his enemies trusted his promises. This moral strength would later become one of his greatest weapons. The decisive moment in his life came during the Crusades. After years of preparation and unification, Salahuddin finally moved against the Crusader states. In 1187 AD, the Crusader army marched toward him under the scorching heat near a place called Hattin. Salahuddin showed extraordinary patience. He avoided direct confrontation and cut off their access to water. Thirst, exhaustion, and heat weakened the Crusaders before battle even began. When the Battle of Hattin finally erupted, it ended in a crushing defeat for the Crusaders. Their army collapsed. King Guy of Jerusalem was captured, along with many high-ranking leaders. Among them was Renaud of Chatillon, a man infamous for murdering Muslim pilgrims and insulting Islam. Salahuddin personally executed Renaud, not out of anger, but as punishment for his crimes. At the same time, he spared King Guy, proving that his actions were based on justice, not hatred. After Hattin, the road to Jerusalem was open. In October 1187, Salahuddin surrounded the holy city. The world expected a massacre because when Crusaders captured Jerusalem in 1099, they slaughtered tens of thousands of Muslims and Jews. But Salahuddin chose a completely different path. When Jerusalem surrendered, he ordered that civilians be protected. Christians were allowed to leave safely. Churches were respected. Jews were welcomed back into the city. There was no bloodbath, no revenge, no cruelty. Even Western historians describe this conquest as one of the most humane in history. Salahuddin's reputation spread across the world. Even his enemies admired him. During the Third Crusade, one of his greatest opponents was Richard the Lionheart, King of England. Though they fought fierce battles, they also showed mutual respect. When Richard fell ill, Salahuddin sent him his personal doctor, medicine, fresh fruit, and ice to reduce his fever. Such gestures were unheard of in war. The two leaders never met face to face, yet their respect became legendary. Years of war eventually took their toll on Salahuddin. He returned to Damascus, exhausted but content. In 1193 AD, he fell seriously ill. As he lay on his deathbed, he had almost no personal wealth. He had given everything away in charity. He ordered his servant to raise a white cloth on a spear and announced to the people that this was all Salahuddin would take with him to the grave. He died at the age of 55. The Muslim world mourned deeply. Even Europe mourned. Salahuddin Ayyubi was not remembered merely as a conqueror, but as a symbol of justice, mercy, and true Islamic leadership. His life proved that strength and compassion can exist together. He showed the world that Islam stands for honor, dignity, and humanity. Salahuddin Ayyubi's story is not just history, it is a lesson that unity creates strength, that mercy creates respect, and that faith creates leaders who are remembered forever.